This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hey, Brittany, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, we've known each other for a couple years now,
Mm-hmm.
and a while back, I think we became closer friends a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you know why that was, and I just want to explain it a little bit.
Okay.
First met you, okay, comic, whatever,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
scene, cool. Seems like a nice person. I'm like, oh, find out later. I'm like, oh, she's a lawyer. Oh, that's dope. Good for her. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
And then I find out, not currently, but at one point you were lawyering in the evening, but in the morning you were working at Starbucks.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably some type of commentary on, a socioeconomic thing,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what I'm getting at. To me, I was like, oh shit, she worked so hard to accomplish this one thing, but that's not enough. She's out here working her ass off, grinding. That's someone I need to work with.
I was grinding coffee.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, there
No,
we
yeah.
go.
I appreciate
But
that.
I was like, oh, that's someone
Yeah.
I want to work with. And
Yeah.
we've done numerous things since then.
Yeah, we
and-
have.
And this is my attempt at a cold open. So thank you guys for
appreciate
tuning
it.
in to the Inquisitive Minds podcast.
Yeah.
I'm your host, as usual, Johnny Smith. The last couple times I introduced myself, I either forgot the name of my guest or I forgot to say my name. So I am Johnny Smith, guys. I'm hosting the fuck out of this podcast.
Yeah.
And there's my demonetization from YouTube because I couldn't wait 6 minutes.
Oh, you have
So,
to wait 6 minutes.
That's something like that.
Nice.
But, my guest today, you guys know her. You love her. She's a lawyer, comedian, all-around hard worker. Brittany Alexis, welcome back.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
And we are doing the Mysterious People series. We're continuing with that. And we have a very interesting guy to talk about today. And he's 100% confirmed real.
Yes, this is a real person.
He's a real person, although sometimes if you read about him, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
And we completely know this guy's identity.
Yep,
But
100%.
it's something where almost everybody knows the name, and I hate to sound cliche like a VH1 show,
Yeah.
but you don't know the story. We're talking about John McAfee today.
Yeah. Oh, he identifies himself as an odd drum, and I think that's a fair
As an odd
identification.
drum.
Don't know what it
Honestly,
means.
I don't like myself in my mind when I read about guys like him,
Yeah.
because there's so much of me that connects.
I get it. I kind of get that.
And I'm like, I just want to live a wild, wild west life like this guy
Yeah.
is.
I kind of like that was my perception of him because when I was doing the research, like obviously there's some things about him, and some of these things I didn't know, but there's some actually bad allegations against him. But at the same time, he does make decent points, and I think that comes from the reason why most people know him, which is cybersecurity
Yeah.
and like protecting you online. And I also think he thinks of like the digital landscape kind of like the Wild West, and I kind of respect the vision he has as far as the digital landscape goes, because like as we'll talk about later, he's a libertarian. I think he would classify himself as
libertarians
a
get a real bad name.
They do.
And I've stopped referring to myself as a libertarian because when you tell someone a title like that, or
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you believe in it?" Look, I just want to be left the fuck alone,
Yeah.
and I don't want to bother anybody. I don't care what they're doing as long as they're not like doing something
Yeah.
outrageous. And essentially, in my mind, that's what it breaks down to. But you say libertarian, and they're like, "Oh, you want kids to have access to heroin?" And I'm like, "Shut up!
Oh.
That's not how that
Yeah.
works. That's not what I'm doing." But go ahead.
I just feel like, I think, I don't know how much of a true libertarian he is, but it does seem like, based on my limited understanding of libertarianism, I think he fits into that definition pretty well.
To be a libertarian,
Like, really.
you got to be. You're not overweight enough. First off,
Oh,
and you don't have a good neck beard.
I have to
like-
get that. You don't know yet because I
But
stragglers.
but if you don't have a neck beard, you can substitute with the fedora.
I did have one of those.
But the only thing you got to do is hold the door open for women.
Okay.
And when they don't thank you, you scream about why they're not having sex. Like that's. I think I'm just
Rage.
shitting on a whole group of people. But if you've listened to this or What in the History with Dan Brady, that's just what I do. So, folks, whatever.
Are you saying that they're the incels of the political landscape?
A lot of times it seems like it.
I get that. It's weird because I feel like a lot of groups intersect, but it's not necessarily because like of overlap of ideology. It's just certain characteristics that don't necessarily have anything to do with each other.
A lot of times when people think of like libertarians, they'll, someone crazy, almost that looks like this guy.
Yeah.
Or like a Joe Dirt
Yeah.
type looking fella. When I think of libertarians, I think of that fat white kid who's a juggalo with a sword cutting bottles in his yard.
Yeah.
Doing videos of how he's a master samurai but
Yeah.
can't do a fucking sit-up.
Yeah.
Ah.
And I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, like, as far as, if you look back even before the Great Depression, before we had, like, any of these programs, I think a lot of people probably would have fit into that definition. So
Of
libertarian, not the juggalo. They hadn't come around yet.
Well, because, these socialist programs, quote unquote, that, what's his name, Roosevelt
Yeah.
put into place are what, overturned our failing country.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were good in the
Yeah.
long term. There was a few that lived a little longer than they should. But that's what people don't realize. Like, you're going to turn towards who's helping you.
Yeah.
Especially in times like that. Like, I can't believe that I've talked about the Great Profession, comedy. The Great Depression
Yeah.
on a serious note as much as I've had over the last month.
Yeah. I think it's really relevant because I think we're not in a Great Depression, and it's not as bad as it was then, obviously. But at the same time, I think a lot of the arguments that FDR presented about why these programs are necessary kind of make it show us, rather, that we are more interconnected, and our well-being is kind of nestled in each other's.
See, but that's the thing that people get the blurred lines. They think because, we're interconnected as far as a society, goods and services. But with social media and with people's communications, they think they have to be in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, and that becomes problematic.
I'll be honest, the hardest thing for me to do is work with someone.
Yeah.
Like in a project long term, just because I don't respond well to working with other people. We make mistakes, you make mistakes, that's fine. I prefer the weight to be on my shoulders. So it's difficult when I try and get involved with something. A lot of times too, and this is probably me being a delicate artist, I have a vision that I can't necessarily translate.
Yeah.
And instead of getting a group of people together to work with me, I just say, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Yeah. I get that.
I'm just trying to let people know I want to work with you. I'm just, it's difficult for me. Like, I don't know.
No, I get it. It's hard to let go. Maybe that's something that McAfee also struggles with.
You know what? Good segue getting us on point, because I want to get back into this story, because last week we had Dave Speck on.
Yeah.
And he talked all about the stock market, and it was fascinating, and it was full of information. But I was just outclassed. I was sitting there like, okay, he's talking in circles, but it all made sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Guys, check that episode out. He knows what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
Brittany knows about John McAfee.
I do a bit now. Did not before. I do now. No. Well, okay, so let's start, right? So John McAfee, I have notes here because there's a lot. So he was born September 18th, 1945. So he's in his 70s now. He's English American. His father was in the military, and he was born, I want to say he was he was born overseas to an English mother. So he's English American.
Brittany is so American. He was born, I don't know, was America, somewhere overseas.
Was America. But I think it was like on a base, but it doesn't matter because he had the blood citizenship. It doesn't matter. And the thing is, like,
he's born outside of freedom country. That's all that matters.
That's not what I'm saying. I didn't think you were. Okay. I'm going to move on. So he was born. He exists. He's in the world now.
Okay. So far, he is up on the man of Tarad.
I just thought it was.
He is, in fact, born.
He existed. But the reason I just thought it was interesting because I didn't think. I just wouldn't have expected him to be English. I don't know why. It's kind of like when that rapper was English and we were like, wait a minute. Wait, who was it? Was it like A$AP? It wasn't A$AP Rocky.
Oh, 21 Savage.
21 Savage. I was like, what? Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, he was talking about, stacking all this bread when he was really getting pounds. You know?
Oh, he was born in Gloucestershire. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, all my listeners in Gloucestershire,
In Gloucestershire.
please reach out.
That's where he was born. And that's where he lived a bit.
That's where my base audience is, by the way.
If I said it wrong, I apologize. I tried. I practiced a lot. That's English. Oh my goodness.
That's the weird thing. Like, we speak this language called English,
Yeah.
but some of these quote-unquote English words are just like, how do you do this?
I can't even say some words like that right.
Yeah. So he was born
He was born
in
He
Gloucestershire.
And so there's not like a ton about his early life. I know, like I said, he lived overseas for a bit and then he came to America. But at the same time, so in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, he worked for NASA in New York. He was a programmer for NASA, which is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that about him. And then in 1987, he founded McAfee Associates, which is what you guys probably know him for, like the computer programming, the cybersecurity. That's what he did.
So working for NASA and then founding this company. So he's a very intelligent guy.
Yeah, he's really intelligent. And that's the thing. I would trust his opinions on a lot of things when it comes to cybersecurity. Because, like, I mean, even now, I mean, he does not work at... He actually only was found... Like, he only operated it for about, like, 4 or 5 years. Because
He got in and got out?
Yeah, he got in and he got out. Or no, yeah. He started in 1987 and he left in 1994. Which is not as much... I thought he worked there, like, until the 2010s.
Yeah. So you say you would still trust his opinion on certain things, though?
Yeah, but, I mean, again, I have limited knowledge on cybersecurity
Well,
anyway.
I know where we would differ. Because I would definitely trust his opinion on cocaine.
I mean, I probably would too if I was trying to do
Like
cocaine.
if he's like, John,
Yeah.
here's some good coke, I'm gonna be like, this man knows what it is.
I believe that. I would believe. I'm not gonna say, again, that's not something that I'm familiar with or interested in. But if I had to pick someone to be like, cocaine.
Well, little
would be
peek behind the curtain. Anytime someone gives you cocaine, they always talk it up.
Yeah.
This is great cocaine.
Yeah, this is great.
Like, people have handed me shit cocaine. They're like, this is the best cocaine. It's like, no, it's not. Half of this is B12. Like,
Okay.
get it
See, I
together.
don't know what that means.
We're not going to get into it. We're not,
I know certain things, but not the things you want me to know.
if you're out there
Okay?
listening and you understand that, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If not, your parents raised you right.
I know the classifications and how much weight will get you a long time. But
I know that too. I didn't go to law school.
well, that's all I know. I don't have this other knowledge.
All right, I'm sorry, we're
No,
getting
you're
off
fine.
topic again.
But yeah, I would trust him on cybersecurity. And he's still really active when it comes to cybersecurity. But like, okay, so like I said, he left in 1994, and he started a lot of other companies. One of them was like Tribal Voice. They made the Powwow chat program. I've never used that. That I know of. Who knows? Maybe it's the coding for like Messenger, and I'm an idiot.
Good point.
But he also was with another company, Quorum X, Future Tense Capital. He's developed smartphone
So you're
apps.
painting the picture of a man who's not only very intelligent, he's also, I want to say, cultured
Yeah.
because he's traveled, a bit of the world, and
Yeah, he has.
and now he's an entrepreneur.
He's an entrepreneur. Yeah, and he is. And that's the other thing, because like you said, he's like, one of the things that seems like he's really into is yoga. I know he had like a Zen retreat for a while, which makes sense, because if you have lived the life he lived, you'd probably be pretty stressed out.
Yeah,
You'd probably be
yeah.
pretty stressed out.
I could get that much.
He's also with like herbal antibiotics. So it's interesting though, because like he has, it seems like conflicting views when it comes to medical.
So he's like
information.
snorting lines of coke, and he's like, "No, you got to go all natural, bro. That's the way."
And that's the thing, because like it's intersected. Like I know he has like some dealings with, like he does a lot with cryptocurrency, and so he has like something with cryptocurrency in the medical field, either with like psychologists or with doctors. So like essentially, one of the interviews I watched, he was talking about how it'll be. I think they're developing like programs where like if you broke your arm, you call up a doctor, have the doctor look at your arm and be like, oh, it's not broken. It's like just a sprain. You don't need to go to the hospital. But if X, Y, and Z happens, go to the hospital, which would probably save a lot of people significant money. And this is like, and that's the thing. That's kind of where I intersect with like some of his ideologies, because I think when we talk about libertarianism and like, kind of the bootstraps argument to some extent too, like pulling yourself up.
Yeah,
it's different.
I'm big on that.
Yeah, like, well, it's like it's different in reality, because there are certain things that are present in reality that we live in that might not necessarily apply as much to online. Because I do think that in some circumstances, your digital presence carries a lot more weight than your in-person presence. Like you can have, I mean, look at GameStop.
Yeah.
Look at GameStop.
I mean, I hate to say that was an anomaly, though.
I don't know that. Well, and look at Facebook, look at Twitter, look at TikTok,
No,
look
they're
at Instagram,
giants, yeah.
and they're all giants. And the reason why, like TikTok in particular, is capitalized on this. People make that app. You go on there, you can find 5 to 1. I would almost say. I don't know the actual statistics, but I would say you could find way more people who are not celebrities, who don't have any kind of backing, who don't have any money, who are young, don't have professional training, or maybe they do, but they just don't have. They did not have that audience before TikTok versus celebrities, and they're competing and beating them.
I hate to be crass at some of this.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on parts of that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people on TikTok, from what I've seen, owe their success to shaking their ass and titties.
Well, but the thing is, I mean, a lot of celebrities owe their success to that too, and they're still not out. They're not outselling the people on TikTok.
I mean, I get on there and I look and I get confused because I'm an old man now.
Yeah.
But then I get frustrated because I'm like, oh, I feel like if I had better breasts, I was like, maybe I could shave. I
mean,
I don't
try
know.
it.
That's the thing. Like, I'm trying to get them smaller, but then I see this. I'm like, maybe I can get a surgery, an enlargement. I don't know.
Get a supportive bra. That's all.
I think if I had this face and a big old pair of, I think people would want to see that.
They would.
And I'd be like, check out my OnlyFans where I trim my beard. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing though, because it's just like, I do think so more so like Instagram has like a very dark undercurrent that people don't talk about, and I think there's a lot more. You have to actually have some kind of establishment behind you. Like, I think a lot of these influencers had some money. Like, they had something, and that's the language of power.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the same on TikTok, and it's partially because, like, on Instagram, if you have a nice, like, Aston Martin outside of, like, a beachfront property, like, they're going to push your video out. TikTok does that, but they also will push a video out of you being like, purple doesn't exist, and then you be like, this is purple, and it's dumb.
See, like, that's where I lose it, because I'm like, what is that? That doesn't even make any goddamn sense.
But it's funny.
Quick time for promo then.
Yeah.
You're on TikTok. Shout out your TikTok.
Oh, I'm at B Felds, but it's spelled BFFL. No, it's spelled at BFLLDZ. I had to change it because I was afraid of the TikTok trolls. They scared me for a little bit.
So it's B Felds?
B Felds. I pronounce it B Felds. It's all of my other social media is at B Felds, BFELDZ. But I changed it on TikTok because I was like, y'all a little bit crazy. And I don't need you coming to my real life. Like, you need to stay over here. So
Brittany Alexis, everyone.
Yeah.
The comic on social media.
Yes.
Who decided to not use B Alexis.
Because I made up my own nickname in law school. And people started calling me.
Who do I have on the program?
I'm the one case of person who made their own nickname, and it stuck, and no one knew that until I just said it. So
Oh, my God. So what was the nickname?
B-Felds. That was my nickname. Everyone would call me like, hey, B-Felds. And I'm like, what's up, guys?
Oh, wow. Now I'm just devastated because we can start nicknames. They're not nicknames. You can be like, hey, call me Jay Smith.
Call me Jay Smith.
Or call me, or what would be my, call me Jay Jones.
Jay Jones.
You can find me on social media, Jay Smith. So this guy, let's go back to him. He's starting companies.
Yeah, he's starting companies. And like I said, like a lot of his, even today, a lot of what he talks a lot about cryptocurrency. So one of the things that he got kind of known for is that he said if that Bitcoin did not reach $1 million by 2020, he would eat his own member on national television.
When you say member,
I mean penis. Something no one asked him to do. That was a volunteered statement. Just a little look into how he thinks.
Wow. What? Okay.
That's what we're starting off with.
Okay, that's an insane thought. And you know what, Brittany?
Yeah, it is.
I have a quick announcement I want to make.
Oh, okay.
From past guests on the program, Brian Seach. The Center for Unexplained Events is proud to announce that they are again holding the Beaver Valley Paracon in 2021. It'll be Saturday, October 2nd. The event will again be held in the Rochester Borough Building at 350 Adams Street, Rochester, PA, 15074. They will have 5 speakers and a small number of vendors. More information to come. But I look forward to it. Guys, they host a great event. I'm sure Fred Saluga, former guest, will be there. John Venture, upcoming guest, might be there. He's a UFO guy. Check it out. It's a great time.
Sounded fun.
Yeah,
Sounds like an
I went to the
interesting
last convention they held, and it was very interesting.
Yeah,
It was very fun.
I can imagine. Sounds interesting. I might check that out sometime.
So he's into Bitcoin, and he's into potentially eating his own penis.
And the thing about that was like kind of strange is because I think he said previously if it didn't get to $500,000, he would do that, and then
Brittany,
he upped it to
that's-
$1 million.
That's drugs.
He
You know,
wants to do
that's
this.
drugs. That's like up all night snorting coke. Todd,
Yeah.
my producer, knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Snorting coke with your buddies, and you get these crazy goddamn ideas. And since they're working with all this money, they come out and like somebody shoves a camera in their face, and they're like, if Bitcoin doesn't reach $1 million by 2020, I'll eat my own dick. That's how confident I. Like that's what that is. That's drugs. He's out of his mind.
But the thing is, like I said, he updated it from $500,000. I would have stopped.
Because he did more coke. Because he did more coke. He came out. He's like
Personally.
500,000, and they're like, "Whoa, 500,000." He's like, "Hold on, a fucking million. If it doesn't reach $1 million, I eat my own dick. Watch me." Like, calm down, buddy.
Chill out,
Like,
man.
that's nuts.
And it's funny because I sent you a video. Like the initial reason why I got interested in this topic was because, what's this called? The Soft Focus interview on Adult Swim.
Okay.
That interested me. And there's like a whole portion where the interviewer is like, "It just seems like you want to do that." She's like, "How would you eat it?" And he gives a lot of answers. There's thought, which.
Who would have thought? No, for anyone out there that knows Brittany, who would have thought that it took, what are we on, 38 episodes for someone to talk about penis sandwiches, and it was Brittany Alexis of all people.
Of all people. And when I started researching this, I was like, goodness gracious.
I kind of want to call this episode Penis Sandwich, just to let the people know
Sandwich.
what we're bringing to the table today.
I think, if I remember correctly, he was going to, like, cook it and, like, put it on a plate. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. If I'm eating a penis sandwich,
Yes.
I'm going to want it on a hot dog bun.
That's fair.
Potentially. As long, you know what? Stereotypes are there for a reason. As long as it's not like Lexington Steel, I want a little Irish fella. Give me Conor McGregor's little tiny pecker.
But it's yours.
No. Oh, well then.
It's yours.
Oh, well then give me a dinner roll. Shit, I don't even need a whole hot dog bun.
That's the thing.
I was planning on something longer. I was going to put chili and cheese. This I could
No.
just boom like a Tylenol. Well then,
It's yours.
carry on.
Because that's what he said.
I have to fillet it, make it look more presentable.
Fried up like a pigtail.
I'll put parsley trimmed in a certain. All right, that's enough.
So it's weird. It's just, that's not the weirdest thing we're going to talk about today.
This is Brittany. How would you eat your penis?
I wouldn't. That's the thing. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't have an answer because I would never do that. If I had one, it's going to stay attached to me till the day I die. If you remove it, guess what? I'm still not going to eat it. Final answer. So, like I said, it's not the weirdest thing. It's not even close to the weirdest thing we're going to talk about today.
Let me guess. If the stock market crashes, he'll eat his own asshole. Is that what's?
It's so much worse.
Oh,
It's
worse.
because I looked up the hammock stuff. I don't know if you looked up the
All right,
hammock stuff.
hold on. So what do you mean the hammock
We'll
stuff?
get to that. We don't need
Okay.
to talk about that right now because we can't have penis and then hammock stuff. We gotta break it up.
I don't know what type of. Okay.
You don't want to know, but I'm gonna tell you, it's uncomfortable for everyone. Okay, so we're all over the place, right?
He's Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin, and like I said, I kind of understand because like in real life, you have all kinds of things that kind of affect people. That might not necessarily be present in the digital sphere as far as like discriminatory practices. There can be, but at the same time, it's still kind of like an open
You know what they don't
field.
talk about enough on online discriminatory practices is the shadow banning of ugly people.
They don't talk about that.
Carry
Actually, they do. That's all they talk about on TikTok. If you're seeing my video, I've been shadowed. And I'm like, goodness gracious, kid, you guys. First of all, I didn't do it. Why are you yelling at me?
I don't
You're
know.
yelling at me. You need to go to HR. Don't come to me. Half the time, it's not shadow ban, but
TikTok tirades.
TikTok tirades. But the other thing, okay, so we got past McAfee. And so, okay, one thing that I do think is actually really interesting to note. So it seems like he might have made $100 million based on his past endeavors, like McAfee Associates, and maybe other things that he was working on. And it seems like, according to Wikipedia and other sources, it seems like his wealth peaked in 2007.
Hold on. According to Wikipedia and other sources.
Wikipedia is a good source. I don't care what y'all say. Well, he was born in 1945. That's what they said. So it's a good source.
Okay.
But like other places did report it. I know, like even on CNBC, like they were talking about, like in some of the interviews, that he made approximately $100 million. That's like everyone's best guess.
Okay, so he made a boatload of money.
He says it was more. The thing is, you can't trust him, because I think his number one priority, I know for a fact, his number one priority is self-preservation. Seems like there might be other things going on, but so it seems like his wealth maybe peaked in about 2007 at $100 million. Or more. However, he lost approximately $96 million because of the housing crisis. He bought a number of mansions, and he like souped them up and like put furniture and all kinds of stuff in. And then when the housing market crashed,
check me out. This is what I learned. From all those balloon mortgages and those ninja loans, it was bound to crash.
True.
I've learned. Go on.
I have an interesting story about that, but we're not do that now. But yeah, so he lost a ton of money in real estate, like right at 2007. So it seems like his wealth that we know of went down to approximately $4 million. I don't know. Maybe I can imagine that probably had a negative impact on him, because it does seem like he just got completely wild after that point. Seems like he was probably wild before that, but it seems like he got totally wild after that point.
So after he lost his $97 million, that's when he started going wild.
It seemed like he was already doing that.
That was a great pose for this picture, by the way. You guys are getting behind the peak. I'm going to advertise with that photo for this episode before it comes out.
But yeah, he lost that. His investments plummeted. It was pretty bad. He also lost money on other things that he calls frivolous lawsuits. What I could glean, what some of these lawsuits were. Let's go over it.
Okay.
Because he lived in Belize for a bit. He lived in Belize.
Now, did he, I don't want to jump ahead.
Yeah.
But did he flee there?
No, he fled from there.
Oh, okay.
And so let's talk about it. So he lived in Belize. Like I said, self-preservation, he has said, is like his number one priority. It's clear. I can understand, coming from a cybersecurity standpoint, why he's like that too, because it seems like he warns a lot about social media and how a lot of these apps are very predatory and they take your information and this is
oh, they are
true.
We just learned Robinhood's not really an investing app. It's actually a data collection app.
Yeah.
And investing is what they do on the side. Like, they make their nut from data collection.
And which is like, okay, not to go back to TikTok, but like that stuff is very invasive, and you
guys,
don't
will you follow her?
it.
Will you follow her on TikTok so she'll fucking drop it?
I'm never gonna drop this. No, I'm just kidding. But like, okay, so he talks a lot about that, and he always, like, it seems like he's always strapped, like always strapped. Even during the interview I sent you, he like at some point like was like holding his gun during the interview, and she was like, "Can you not do that? Because that's making me uncomfortable." He always has a bodyguard present. He has tons of guns. All this stuff. He has he had these dogs when he was in Belize.
Now, what is wrong with that, though?
There's nothing. Well, this is the thing. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not the fact that he has these things. This is the problem. So he had these dogs. It seems like the dogs were really annoying his neighbor, Greg Fall, who's his neighbor in Belize. Greg Fall was an expat as well. He kind of was seeming to retire to Belize and just wanted to be nice, quiet. Good times, right? So he has these huge dogs. Seems like he had about 9 dogs, and they were kind of vicious, like attack dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Greg did not like these dogs. He would talk to his mom about them, like, if you come to visit me, he's got these dogs. I just want you to know they're normally an offense. Seems like Greg also told people he was going to take care of these dogs, and it seems like Greg also told McAfee that he was going to kill these dogs.
Okay, so I don't know much about Greg other than he's talking shit on some dogs.
Well, he didn't just talk. Somebody threw poison meat, and the dogs died.
Oh.
So that's where. So the next night, Greg ends up dead.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, wow.
He was tasered and then shot.
That escalated quickly.
It did, right? It did. And it just seems, Who would want to do that to Greg?
An animal rights activist.
Possibly that had intimate knowledge of this very specific and closed
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, man. PETA has their arms in everything.
They
You have
do?
no idea where they're at.
Maybe. But what I do know, so McAfee claims he has nothing to do with it.
Hey, McAfee, by the way, I'm backing you, so if you ever want to work with me, you know I got your back, brother.
Well, let's talk about this, right? He claims he has nothing to do with it. He doesn't know anything about it. However, there's a couple things that came out from one of the people who worked for him. The guy's name is Cassian Charivier. I think I said that right.
Okay.
I have been practicing. Cassian Charivier. I cannot roll my R's, and it kills me. I can't
I
do
don't
it.
know.
That sounds right. But so essentially, this guy is saying that after the dogs died, McAfee instructed him to wire $5,000 to this guy named Eddie. Eddie has a lot of ties to, and it seems like is possibly, or was possibly, a gang member in the gangs in Belize.
Mm-hmm.
So he wires this $5,000. Okay. Cassian later, allegedly, based on a statement he made previously, receives a phone call from Eddie to like pick him up the night of the murder.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's a murder. It is a murder. It's not alleged that it's a murder. It is a murder.
We just don't
We
know
don't know who did it. But Cassian says that this guy Eddie was like, hey, come pick me up. And then he says he connected the dots and was like, oh, that's kind of odd.
So no one's been charged for this murder?
No. And the thing about it that's interesting is so Cassian's recanted his statement. You want to know where? In a video he made with McAfee. This guy who's always strapped. Again, these are allegations. I don't know. I wasn't there. I can't tell you what happened or what didn't happen.
Hard stance. Look, we get it. We get it. You had him killed or you murdered him yourself because he killed your dogs. I get it. I'm not going to say it was right, but I understand.
Yeah. So the thing is, it seems like McAfee fled to like the jungle of Belize before fleeing to Guatemala and trying to get asylum, trying to request asylum in Guatemala. Guatemala arrested him.
Oh.
They detained him.
Oh, no.
They detained him, right, for a week, and then they deported him to America.
Oh, how does that work?
Well, I mean, like, because I guess they just denied his claim for asylum outright, and then they were, like, done. But the thing is, the Belize authorities were asking questions. They were trying to question McAfee, and he was, like, fleeing. And I think it's interesting because if you watch him talk about other things, like, not to jump too far ahead, excuse me, but McAfee has other charges pending against him in the U.S., and to hear him talk about some of the charges that he has pending, he's very open. He's very calm, cool, and collected. And he's like that in most of his interviews. He's very good at controlling, his body and his facial expressions and just the way he talks and controlling the narrative even. But when you hear him talk about what happened in Belize, he gets angry immediately. He runs away. And the funniest thing to me is he faked 2 heart attacks while in Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
And he admitted to faking the heart attacks.
Okay.
And it's funny because if you see the footage, he's like on a gurney and they're going to undress him. And he's like, please don't undress me right now. And it's...
So...
He's not passed out.
Kills this guy. He gets back to America.
Allegedly, yeah. He gets back to America after faking the heart attacks in Guatemala and being deported. What's interesting to know, and I think that I actually do find this like really interesting. So it doesn't seem like he was married ever previously. But literally the night he gets back from being deported in Guatemala after the authorities in Belize are after him, he actually entertains the services of a prostitute. And he married her. He went on to marry her. Yeah, like literally that same night. I just thought that was so interesting.
That's the drugs, man.
And it's just really interesting. Because like I'm looking at this timeline. But yeah, he does, and he ends up marrying her. I think it's really interesting too because
if you are ever with a prostitute and marriage is what's on your mind at the time when you're with her, you are fucking doing life wrong.
Well, the thing is,
not to say
it
they
seems
don't
like
deserve
he
love.
liked. Well, so I haven't found many things about their relationship, but she's like about 30 years younger than him. But the thing about it, so she's an African American woman. I just found that really interesting because like McAfee's like an older guy. He met her in his 60s. And I'm not in any way saying that just because you're born in a certain time period, you have certain prejudices. But I can for sure say that you were around those kind of prejudices. And so maybe that would influence you to some extent. But it just does seem like another thing about McAfee is like he just doesn't kind of pay attention to social norms, social mores. He goes by his own ethos.
McAfee, you're not racist.
He's not. So I don't think he's racist.
Good job on that.
Necessarily. I don't think he's racist necessarily. Some of the statements he's made about.
You know, I got a compliment recently that I was thinking about not even bringing up.
What is it?
And I won't mention any names, but someone told someone about me. Oh, well, it seems like he's a good guy and he's not racist, so that's good. Like,
good.
You don't need to compliment me for not being racist. Like, that's the stupidest fucking shit. Oh, he doesn't hate black people. Good job, John. Like, what the fuck? Shut the fuck up. People are too woke.
You would be surprised.
Oh, my God.
Honestly, sometimes, like, the things I see, I'm like, goodness gracious, like, it's not that hard not to out yourself as a racist. Like, it's not that difficult to just not say anything.
Well, that's the thing. And then the person that said that has known me for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, it took you 2 years to come to that conclusion?
I
and
can
then,
tell you that.
like...
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes you're, like, cool with somebody, and then they say something like, oh. I remember, literally, when I was 13, there was this girl. I was cool with her. We were at dinner together. And she literally, for no reason at all, she was like, you know what? And we had been getting close, and I'm like, this is great. She's like, you know what? She's like, my dad says that there are two types of black people. Like,
oh, my God.
This is an interesting way to start a sentence.
Are we going Chris Rock here?
I don't know, because I don't remember it. But she's like, there's a good black person, and then there's an N-word. And I was like, that's not the sentence I thought you were going to say.
We definitely went Chris Rock.
We did. And she told me not to worry because I was a good black person. I was like, oh, that is not a compliment. I don't know what you define these things as. Like, you would be surprised. And she didn't think it. I didn't even say anything. I was 13, so I didn't know how to handle it. But, like, you would be surprised. People, like, they say stuff totally normal to them. And you're just like, that, okay.
We can chalk that up to bitches be tripping.
They be tripping.
Wow.
Them and they daddies.
Brittany's bringing her trauma out on the show. Okay.
No, but I'm
let
just
it
saying,
out.
like,
Breathe.
legit,
Let it out.
you cannot always tell. You can't. The other way you can tell is if you make somebody mad and then they immediately get ready. That happened to me one time. I didn't even do anything. He was just mad I got picked for something, and he didn't. And then he was just like, black people, this. Like, you're intimidating. I'm like, okay. I am intimidating.
Brittany is intimidating.
I am very.
What kind of a pussy are you? No disrespect to you, but
know.
you're very. What kind of a pussy are you that you're intimidated by Brittany Alexis? Like, she's the nicest, calmest,
That person said I would intimidate the jury, and I'm like, how? I'd be in a suit and, like, chilling. Even if I wasn't, I don't think I mean, like, I have, like, these decals. But these aren't things that should judge your intimidation factor.
Brittany's like, here's my who I'm holding counsel with, and you just bring me out and stand me in front of the jury, and I just stare at him.
That guy would have said I was more intimidating than you. I asked him multiple questions in front of witnesses, and I was just like, are you saying X, Y, and Z? And he was like, yup. And I'm like, okay, you're honest.
These people are wild.
That's all I'm saying. So, like, unfortunately, it shouldn't have to be said, but it is a good thing to be said. Because they're I have tested him.
I mean, yeah,
and I know.
I guess. I mean, you could see all my family members and my friends and the people I interact with and my entire life and just automatically know that. Because because I can't have lifelong relationships with people of different ethnicities if I'm secretly racist. It's going to come out.
You will be surprised.
You fight with your friends, right?
But it's
from time
different.
to time.
Yeah, you definitely do.
So if I fight with a friend, I'm gonna talk shit to him on whatever he's lacking. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, you fucking fat piece of shit," or you know what I mean. You call him a crackhead, even you know, whatever. Okay. But there's never been a time where if I was racist, I would obviously be like, "Oh, you fucking racial epithet."
Well, and that's the thing because you just don't expect it, and part of it's because it's been so normalized. But I mean. A big part of it's like people will have lifelong relationships with people who are different, and part of it's because like you're kind of taught like you want to have a thick skin. You don't want to be like, oh, you're racist. But there's nothing wrong with saying somebody's being racist. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let people trick you out of saying what's right.
There's not anything wrong with that, but there's also a point where people tend to throw it around too.
Some people do tend to
not
throw it
everybody.
around. But what I mean is like There, like I
Like,
said,
like
I
my
didn't call-
situations where I've been called alt-right
Yeah.
and all that other
Yeah, that
shit.
was ridiculous. But like at the same time, like I didn't call that girl racist, and I definitely should have. And be like, that's really racist what you just said.
Well,
So,
now we know
yeah.
what you got to go back and fix.
I have a couple things. Because Pat Buchanan's on that list too. Personally victimized by that man.
The football
No,
player?
the old, I think he was like a news anchor for a bit. He got fired literally a week after he said some racist stuff on one of my classes. He got fired from MSNBC for being racist. I was like, that could have been me. That could have been me on C-SPAN.
Brittany is on one
I
today
am
because
on
she
one.
has lost me a couple times. But
I
yeah,
am
fuck
on
that
one.
guy too. Fuck you, Pat Buchanan.
Well, he already lost his job, so yeah. Sit home and watch it.
Quick disclosure.
Yes.
When we started talking about John McAfee,
Yeah.
I researched Pat McAfee, the football player, because I'm a fucking idiot. And I'm like, oh, this guy played in the NFL and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point. There's nothing he could do that I'd be like, oh, that's too okay.
Okay, so he marries this prostitute
So he
immediately.
married but the thing I liked about the interview I saw where she was talking, she said that he was the only person who saw her humanity, and she thought she was worthy of a second chance. And it just kind of, again, I don't know anything about this man. He does not strike me necessarily as a good person, but it does seem like the relationship that they have, to some extent, is like pretty genuine, and it does seem like he treats her with respect. To her definition.
You set the bar high, don't you, Brittany?
To her, it just seems like whatever I respect that. I don't know how
Setting
to
the
explain
bar super high. He
What?
treats her like a human with decency
I get
and
it.
as a person,
as a person.
and not many people do that.
Do you know where the bar is right now? It is so low.
We got to grab the bar and push it up. You gotta
need
keep
to,
pushing
You
it
need
up.
to pull it up.
Yeah,
That's what you
fair enough.
Not you, but yeah. No, but it's so I did like the way she talked about, again, I don't know where that's coming from, but I just thought that was really interesting. That he marries her. But like, let's go to some of the charges, right? So all of this happens in December of 2012. And the funniest thing is that his lawyer tried to help him out of the heart attack thing, but like he had anxiety attacks and he was like, no, I faked them.
That's wild to me.
Which is like, why don't you guys just listen to your lawyers?
That's like that. What was that show? That movie, Analyze This or Analyze That.
I think I know what
When
you're
Robert
talking
De Niro was faking being out of it or whatever.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't say anything if you're not asked questions.
You know, I've always dreamed of faking a heart attack,
Don't do that.
but I don't think I could ever pull it off.
I know I couldn't.
I would start laughing.
I would too.
Once they start carrying me, like the first time they drop me, I'm just
Yeah.
going to chuckle.
A lot of people do stuff like that. It's kind of funny every time. I'm not gonna lie, but a lot of people do stuff like that. You're just like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, what's
right
wrong
now?
with people?
Like the second the defibrillator's pulled out, wait a minute, I'm fine.
Huh, don't hit me with that thing.
I'm good. But so so he got arrested in 2000. He got released from Guatemala December 12, 2012. It seems like 3 years later, he was arrested in Tennessee on counts of possession of a firearm while intoxicated and driving under the influence.
Sounds like a party.
2018, he had a wrongful death lawsuit against him for the person we spoke about earlier, Greg Fall's death. It wasn't dismissed. I don't know exactly what happened with that in the end because that was pretty recent. 2019, he was on the run from the United States authorities in reference to like these IRS charges because he doesn't pay his taxes. What's really interesting though, and that's why I'm like, I don't think he's like the honest person I thought. I think he's just very into self-preservation. It's like if you watch him talking about these tax charges anywhere, like any interview, he'll be like, yeah, I didn't pay my taxes since 2010 and it's not illegal. He said I paid $50 million in taxes and I did not get $50 million worth of services from the United States government. I'm like, that is not an argument.
You know what? I dig that though, and I caught a lot of flack because I'm anti-tax.
Yeah.
And when Trump's bullshit came out about whatever he paid such a little amount, I didn't come out and defend him. I wasn't like, go Trump.
Yeah.
But I did say something along the lines of, I'm not going to hate taxes every day, and then when someone I don't like does something that I agree with, I'm not going to be like, oh, he's bad for it. Like, if I could, I would do the same shit. So I'm right there with you on that.
Well, the thing that's interesting to me about it, too, is, like, how did he end up paying $50 million in taxes? Because that seems really high. Like, if he was...
It does.
Especially because of loopholes. Like, it
But-
seems high.
My other question is, he ran for president twice, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did run for president twice. That's interesting. So he ran in 2016. He started initially in the Cyber Party, and it seems like cyber technology, or not cyber technology, cyber security, and that these things are really important to him, which I think is fair to include in a presidential campaign. I think those things are fair concerns, and I think it's very progressive to include that, because a lot of people kind of shy away from talking about technology. But like, again, as we've seen with like the Robinhood incident, as we've seen with how these tech companies are selling your data, like, why are things like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok free? They say if you don't see a clear product, you are the product.
Yeah.
And that's true. You are the product. Your data is very valuable. Why do you think your phone listens to you? Because it knows everything about you. So I think that's a really good thing to. So he was gonna run in the Cyber Party, but then he ditched that and ran as a libertarian, and he came in like third runner up. Did not win that.
Mm-hmm.
He ran in 2020 on the libertarian ticket. He lost to Joe Jorgensen.
Mm-hmm.
So those are his
Shout
two
out to
bids.
Joe.
Shout out to Joe. But he's I'm trying to find the actual quote, but he had like his campaign was really about cryptocurrency. One of the main components of his campaigns were kind of making cryptocurrency more mainstream. And what I could glean from other interviews he's done, which is, again, I do think what he's saying makes sense. Again, I have a limited knowledge of this, but when it comes to cryptocurrency, it kind of seems like he sees it as like a level playing field, and he kind of wants government interference out of money. So if you can have cryptocurrency online, obviously, the people have a lot more control over it. And so you don't have to worry about like certain things like taxes or or things of that nature, and the government would have to be more bent to the will of the people, as opposed to, you know, having the IRS, U.S. Treasury, things of that nature. And he also wants you to be safe when doing, because like if you use Bitcoin, again, if I butchered that ideology, it makes sense based on everything else I've come to glean about him. But if I butchered that, then I'm sorry. But that was my understanding. And when it comes to protection on cryptocurrency, it seems like certain types of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, when you pay it, you have to give someone like your wallet's address. And once you give that person your wallet's address, they can kind of check in on that anytime to see how much money you have. Like, it's not just like, oh, I give you $20 and that's the end of it. It's like I could open your wallet and look into it just like at any time, depending on how you transfer the funds. And so, I mean, it makes sense on the privacy front why he's like very into it, because I think a lot of people are investing in Bitcoin, and a lot of people are getting involved in cryptocurrency, and they don't entirely understand all of the long-term implications that they're going for. And it's making leaps and bounds. Like, if you look at technology just as a, like, look at the iPhone 11. The first iPhone was like, what, early 2000s?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
We're at iPhone 12 now, and it's much different.
Yeah.
The other one was like closer to a new key. Like, you probably like brick somebody with that. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
this one.
I was just sitting over here thinking about how much of a sham the Federal Reserve is.
Yeah.
But that's a completely different episode.
It's just, I don't know. I won't pretend to know a ton about taxes and finances and those stuff. Just not for me right now. Maybe one day in the future. I think I will, because I am actually getting more interested in learning about it. But at this time, I'm going to say I don't know anything about it as a way to cover my own self.
That's always the safest way.
Yes.
I tell people I'm just an idiot, you know, so if you don't like my opinion, or if it bothers you, or if I say some wrong shit, move about your day.
Yeah, let me know.
Who the fuck am I?
Yeah, but don't let me know, because, like, well, you can.
Let me know. I need you to reach out. I need
Yeah.
engagement on this podcast.
Let
Come
me
on.
know, but at the same time, I'm still like, you're right, because I have no idea.
You're right.
You're right.
You're right, dog. I got you.
Absolutely,
You're right.
100%.
So where is this guy today?
Oh, he's in jail.
Oh, he's locked up.
He's locked up in Spain. So this is where things get dicey. So he was running for president in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he's done a number of interviews where he was like, I did not pay taxes since 2010, which is not illegal, which is not true. That's not. I don't know a lot, but I do know, like, that's not true. That's not. Ask Wesley Snipes. Not true. You gotta pay him. Not true.
You know, that's going to be my fate one day.
What?
Wesley Snipes.
Why?
I'm going to be at the top of my career and have to do a 3-year bid for tax evasion.
Please don't say that. Like, why would you say that right now, though? Like, he knew what he was doing.
Oh no, it's gonna happen because like before last year, I didn't file my taxes for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But then they were like, "Oh, you're not getting a stimulus if you didn't." I was like, "Oh shit,
Gotta file 'em,
filed
yeah.
them." And this year, I'm like, "We'll see what happens."
No, you should file. Just file them.
I mean,
Don't say you're not going to file them on the podcast. Please listen to me.
I fully intend to file and pay all my taxes.
Thank you. I
No,
appreciate
no,
that statement.
because this year I have, and it's probably not going to show up on this tax return, but
Yeah.
next year's, I have entered a higher tax bracket. I could say,
Nice.
yeah.
Congrats.
But the only problem with that is it's all self-made.
Yeah.
So taxes aren't originally taken out,
No.
and they're going to want to take everything, and you can kiss my ass because you haven't given me shit.
Hire a tax consultant or someone. Maybe a tax attorney. I don't know.
I just won't pay him.
Again,
And stick under
for
the
legal
radar.
purposes, this is a joke. That doesn't
Yeah,
actually
no.
work, but I do feel the need to say it.
No, everything on this show is a bit. This is an
bit.
entertainment show.
We're
This is a
joking.
bit.
We're just joshing. We're just joshing.
I'm just joshing. We started out with a hard fuck within the first 30 seconds of the
We
show,
did.
but we're just joshing at this
Just
point, guys.
joshing. But yeah. So yeah. Okay. So like the 2020 thing, it all happened. He got arrested October 6th of 2020
Mm.
in Spain after the United States requested that he be arrested for these. I think he was charged for tax fraud. I'm not 100% clear on exactly everything that they're alleging, but I do know for a fact that he has said multiple times that he has not paid taxes since 2010 because he doesn't owe them. He
Yeah.
said, no, I forget paid. He has not filed for taxes
Yeah.
since 2010 because he doesn't owe them.
Yeah, that's
he
a good
did
way
not
to put
receive
it.
$50 million. Don't say it. That's a keeper. That's a keeper to yourself.
No, no, I don't get. And you know what? Student loans takes my not student loans last year
Yeah.
because I also owed the state government money because
Johnny,
I'm a thug. Fuck that shit. And they just would take my federal return, and I think I got it paid off.
yeah.
So student loans might take it this year because I'm not paying those bitches either.
Oh my goodness. This is not the let's admit things. This is not confession time.
Brittany, I am an open book. I have said such horrid things
I
about
know.
myself.
You know I can't represent you if they hear this. I'm a witness.
I got a ticket the other day. I
What
immediately.
are you doing, Johnny? Stop! This is the stuff that keeps us up at night. We can tell people, don't say any, just and you're like, actually, where's the microphone?
Brittany, I've been to prison.
Yes.
I'm not worried about a traffic ticket.
I know, but please.
But I got a traffic ticket the other day. He said I ran a stop sign, which I didn't. I'm
Okay,
going to
that's
fight
fair.
that.
Yeah.
I did not
That's
run that stop sign. But I immediately texted Brittany. I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Not legal advice, but legal advice, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah, here's not legal advice, but legal advice. Good job.
But it wasn't legal advice because I'm not his attorney. It was just things that I knew. And I was like, you should talk to an attorney about it. But if you
Yeah,
are
because I
interested-
definitely wasn't speaking to an attorney.
You should talk to another attorney about it. I did say that.
But I'm gonna go. Where's the tape? I don't believe they have a tape of me running the stop sign. I don't
Oh.
think I stopped the stop. I don't think I ran the stop
I mean,
sign.
Hey,
This lady was a cunt, and
I don't know this woman.
yeah, well, I don't either. And her name's really long.
Don't say it.
I'm not gonna say it
Thank
right
you.
now because I'm gonna wait to see how this proceeds out.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
If it plays out and I don't have to pay the ticket and it gets blah blah blah,
Yeah.
we'll worry about it. If I have to pay this ticket, I'm gonna air that bitch's name out on this show every fucking chance I get.
Just not with me on it. Thank you.
You know, last episode of not the last episode, but a recent episode of What in the History,
Yeah.
I had mentioned the cop by name that had arrested me for this most recent jail stint, to which was unnecessary because I wasn't doing anything wrong. I had a firearm.
Okay.
Go fuck yourself, Trooper Marasco. Go fuck yourself.
Why are we doing this?
No, Brittany Alexis is not part of this
I am
conversation at this moment.
Not at
I'm
all.
still sour about that, you piece of shit. You can go fuck yourself.
So, to the hammock.
Yeah, to the hammock. Let's get to the hammock.
Okay, this is a little aside. So,
Brittany, guess what else I did illegal yesterday?
don't tell me. Goodness gracious. So, to the hammock. There's a documentary. It's on Showtime, but it's on Hulu.
Brittany
have to have
says
showtime.
admitting things on camera are the things that
do
keep
that.
her up at night.
They do.
You have no clue the horrid things I've done that keep me up at night.
I can understand.
I wish it was something like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that on the podcast. I say something stupid on a podcast and I sleep like a baby.
It's just like I've seen, like when I saw that interview with that girl who like tried to fight that kid for allegedly stealing her cell phone and he did not do it. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
So there was a girl who was like in I want to say it was in New York. She was on vacation and like maybe going back. She thought this black kid stole her cell phone. He's like 14, she's 22. And the kid was there with his dad. And so she's like accusing him like he stole my cell phone, trying to attack him. Cops get called, like this whole situation unfolds. He didn't steal the cell phone. It was at the hotel lobby desk.
Was she white?
Well, I think she's white. I'm not 100% sure on her ethnic background, but like her attack on this kid was like, ooh boy,
Vicious.
Where are you coming from? So she does this interview. I feel so bad for her attorney because her attorney's sitting right here. It's with Gail King. She has on a daddy hat, which like I know her attorney was like, you know what, it's better to go no hat. You don't need the daddy hat. And she's like, I'm more the daddy hat. Not a good idea when you're trying to, get the public on your side.
I'll be honest, Brittany. Whenever I'm dealing with real legal trouble and I'm fighting it, I'm dead silent.
Yeah.
You don't. So that's not something we have to worry about.
Well, no.
This traffic ticket.
I mean, yeah, that's different.
Fuck that cop.
But like just this interview was a mess because she basically shushed Gail King and was like, I'm a nice person.
And
like,
only Oprah has that power.
I don't even know if Oprah has that power. Do it on camera.
So tell me about the hammocks, and then we'll
So
wrap
the
up and get it out of here.
Okay, the hammock situation is interesting. There was an interview, a documentary, and it's called Gringo, and it is available on Hulu via Showtime. It's a Showtime documentary. And it seems like a lot of women that used to work for John McAfee allege that there is a hammock that had a hole cut in it. And he would ask these people to defecate in the hammock, allegedly, as he allegedly was underneath the hammock, allegedly, with the mouth open, allegedly. And he gets very touchy if you ask him about that. Don't ask. He was like, "This is my sexual history," and it's like, okay, so the hammock exists, allegedly.
Brittany Alexis.
I told you didn't want to get it right after the penis sandwich. I told you.
Don't kink shame.
I'm not kink shaming.
Whatever you're into. You
Not
want to
kink
shit on
shaming.
somebody's chest. The only good thing about Cleveland is their sex move, the Cleveland steamer. Fuck Cleveland the rest of the way. Hey,
It's not the chest though.
It's in his mouth. Hey,
Allegedly.
we don't kink shame.
I'm not kink shaming. I'm just saying.
You ever heard of snowballing? That shit's pretty
You don't
nasty.
need to know about it.
You know,
I'm good.
but I'm not
I'm
here to
good.
kink shame.
I'm not kink. I'm just saying that's what the hammock was. It was requested by the people. I want to give the people what they want. It's a hammock.
Oh, they wanted to hear about the hammock.
That's what they commented. That's the hammock story. There's another story. His Twitter is wild. So he has like this whole thing about something that's illegal with whales.
What do you mean? Sex with whales?
A lot of it, and like to the point where he like.
What do you mean whales? As like talking about a large
majestic
woman,
being. No,
or like the
like
fish,
in the ocean.
the mammal?
A lot.
What
Like,
kind of whale is
tweeted-
he having sex with?
He's not, but he was like. So people were like, "That's okay." You're saying a lot right now, and then they were like, "Also not consensual," and he was like, "Actually, get out of here with your non-consensual BS. If you can manage to do it." And I'm like, that's not a good argument.
You know what though?
Like-
You know what? I'm not in for raping whales. I'm strong stance on that. Anti-whale rape.
Well, he says it can't happen.
But
that's problematic.
I feel like if you can maneuver enough
That's his exact
to
argument.
get your dick in a whale.
Why are libertarians like this?
Brittany, have you seen like an orca whale?
That's literally the argument that he made, but at the same time, like those are again, keep
Brittany,
it to yourself.
another
first.
strong stance, like a tiger, a grown tiger, a lion, a cheetah, a bear. If you can successfully have sex with that animal, you did it. You deserve to. Because
no, you don't.
no.
Don't do this.
No. Because there's no accidentally sneaking up on a tiger and having sex with it.
But
So
it's
if
illegal, and it should
no.
be.
So if you somehow seduce this tiger into letting it just purr up and not eating you, and then you make sweet love, you're free to go, man.
Okay, you know what? As the law stand, I am in support of the current laws that we have regarding these Endangered
At
animals.
Inquisitive Minds, we feel like if you can fuck a dangerous animal, not tied up, not against its will, if you can get
How
out
do
there
you
in the
know?
wild and fuck a dangerous animal and survive, you got it, and we support you, and you are one top son of a bitch.
That's literally his argument, and it's not Chef's Kiss. It's not Chef's Kiss. I'm telling you that. I'll tell you that now. No, he can do that.
Put some Salt Bay. Put some Salt Bay.
It's not Salt Bay.
That's the condom for a tiger
not Salt
you're
Bay.
using.
But like literally, that was his argument. I was like, "Can you please not do this?" Like,
Yeah, I'm
you
not
can
going on
delete-
Twitter with this, I guess.
No.
But like, I don't know, man. If you told me you fucked a grizzly bear as a guy, you're like, yeah, I went and stuck my dick in a grizzly bear, and I was like, where at? And you're like, in the wild, and I'm like, what happened? It was like he roared. She seemed to enjoy it. I went about my day. I'm like, well, you got it, dude. You're
Yeah.
successful. Like, what is in your heart to tame and warm that grizzly bear's?
So this is where we differ, because if you told me that, I'd be like, "Oh, it was so nice meeting you. Have a good day. Thank you.
I'm not saying like a cat or a dog,
Have
But, like,
a nice day."
like.
That's what I would say. 'Cause
If
people
someone
will tell
came up to me
stuff-
and said they had sex with a full-grown alligator, I would not be upset or creeped out. I would be terrified of them as a human,
Yeah.
not because they had beautiful intercourse. I'm not here to slut shame with an alligator,
Well,
but because that is probably the toughest person I will ever meet.
I would be like, "It was so nice meeting you. Have a good day."
Brittany, you got to keep people in your corner for certain reasons.
Have a good
Like, you never know what you're going to need a guy who's tough enough to have sex with an alligator for.
I mean, yeah, that's true. Hopefully, it just doesn't happen in the first place.
Like, if I need someone who can have sex with a bear and is that tough, I can't call my lawyer friend. Can't be like, hey, Brittany,
Wait, what do you need? What do you need
like,
help with?
I need a bear seduced.
Why do you need that? Why do you need that?
Look, I compartmentalize. Don't ask about my
Why
life.
do you need that?
There's obviously cocaine involved.
Also,
It's about-
I just feel like if you need that, there were a lot of things that got you there that you should have been like, "This is probably not a step I need to take right now. I will go this direction." I will not go this
All
direction.
right. This episode took a hell of a turn. Brittany,
Yeah.
I heard you did a great job. 2 nights ago, you had a show.
Yeah.
And you had a show last night as well?
No,
Okay. 2
No, I
nights
did
ago,
not.
you had a show.
I hope I didn't, because I didn't do it.
Whatever. You're just unprofessional. Don't show up. Whatever. No call, no show.
Please don't be mad at me, because I did not know I had that show.
No, I heard you did great on that show that you were on. You got any upcoming shows?
Actually, yes, I do have one on February 12th. It's an online show.
Okay.
I'm excited about it. It's with like some really cool people, like Leslie Cavallo, Aaron Kleiber. I think Helen Wildy is.
Leslie
Helen
Cavallo
Wildy.
is my homie.
Yeah, she's cool. I think she's hosting, and then yeah, it's gonna be really, really, really fun. And then we have the shows coming up at Arcade.
Okay.
There's gonna be digital shows too. One is a roast. We call it an American roast. It'll be pretty fun. And then the other one is a sketchathon, like a telethon, but with sketches.
Oh,
We're gonna see how that goes.
that sounds
I'm
interesting.
very excited. I think it'll be fun. I've always wanted to get into sketch. I'm working with a lot of great people, some of whom already do sketches and are really doing well. Like Joey Purse, I think is going to be helping us out with like 1 or 2 sketches.
Okay.
Derek Brown,
Mhm.
a lot of sketches. And we have other people like Ian McIntosh
Okay.
potentially helping us. So like there are going to be a lot of cool people like Samantha Bentley, like a lot of Christina McNeese, a lot of cool people. Some of which are on TikTok and enjoy it. So-
Okay. Guys, I got some shows coming up too. I'll be in Ohio at the end of the month, and I think I got 2 gigs in Erie next month. Check me out there. Brittany, we know where we can find you on TikTok.
Mhm.
Where else can we find you?
On Facebook, if you just type in @bfelds, my comedy page will come up. Brittany Alexis
Okay.
Comedy. And then on Instagram @bfelds. Oh, and I'm on Twitter again @bfelds. It's fun again. I like it now.
Oh, okay. Well, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to check out my other podcast, What in the History, with my co-host Dan Brady. I didn't mention it before, but I wanted to say Happy Black History Month, everybody. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for coming, Brittany.
Thanks for having me.
Peace and love, everybody.